Is anybody talking during this intro?
No, here we are. 1, 2, 3.
He's Jason Tucker. He's having technical difficulties.
We know what we're doing. It's look at it. Oh,
He's thinking of the founders we can
card. Sorry. Hey, Steve. It's Say. Hi, I'm Say, and I love cupcakes. That was Steve. That was Tucker.
And I'm Jason Cosper with Weather and Traffic on the Fives.
You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere you get your podcasts.
I mean, where do you get your podcasts? Don't they just show up on your phone when you think about them?
I know. Follow us on Discord. Do you follow?
I logged in there the other day.
Follow on Discord? Do you interact? No. What do you do on Discord?
Discord, the next 10 years. That's where we're going to be.
Jason, your audio you're muted. We can't hear you.
Live.
This is going so well.
Wow. Happy birthday to us.
I just want to say really quick, here's the thing about our show is that we are authentically us. And if nothing else demonstrates that better than our own technical difficulties.
Jason, have you tried jiggling it? Try jiggling it.
Just turn it on and off again.
Last year, I said, hopefully by year 10, we'll get all of our technical difficulties ironed out. And
why would we do that?
Give or take 10 years.
Sure.
Oh look, he's doing it.
We scared him off.
No.
He's actually starting.
Jason.
Okay, I do want to. That was really cute, though. I know he's rebooting his computer, but he made us little birthday cards. That was adorable. Yeah. If you're listening, it's a podcast on Spotify, Apple, or Stitcher,
or wherever you
or any of your local channels.
What are we talking about today? Oh, there he is. I still can't hear him.
We're talking about us. Talking about us.
Let's talk about Jason since he can't defend himself.
Actually, that's actually a really great idea. Let's pretend we plan this and talk about Tucker and Jason and talk about how cool he is, because I was actually remarking to a friend of mine the other day that we were going to be 10, and I said, honestly, this is like the thing with the most longevity that I have open. My bookstore lasted for 9 years, and I was like, I think it's really because of Jason. I mean, obviously it's because of Jason, because you show up all the time. But we all have to show up for each other. But you show up, and you show up for us, and you show up for the show, and your dedication is steady and inspiring and flexible. It's like dedication without having to be pedantic and dogmatic. And it's part of the magic of who we are on this show and being ourselves. But when you bring that energy, Jason Tucker, you're dead. Yeah, you died, and I'm now giving you a eulogy.
Yeah, that's what. If you by the way, if you're not watching this podcast, if you're listening, you need to go watch the podcast, because all we're getting is Jason's reactions. He can hear us. He can hear it. We just can't hear him.
I mean, can you call in?
Yeah.
We have a phone in line.
Wait,
got to work.
There he is. Yay!
I have too many mute buttons, my friends.
Only 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes.
I know that was just a ploy to get me to say nice things about you.
I saw the white light, and then Say kept talking about all the cool things that I did, and then I was just like, oh no, it's happening.
But really, to extend on what Say is it was kind of getting at is
not eulogizing.
No, I will not. Jason particularly has shown up for this community through all of the changes to the lineup here and everything else, with a few exceptions, because we don't have enough people for the show that week, or someone has a tea time or wants to go camping or whatever.
Or severe postpartum depression, things come up.
Thanks,
Right.
Stuff comes up over the course of 10 years. Stuff comes up.
Jason has very consistently shown up for 10 years, not only for the show, but for the community. And I think that's a really fucking beautiful thing.
I want to give you a hand.
You got a rock.
Yeah, you deserve it. Yeah. That's real. I don't know what clapping sounds like in the microphone, so I apologize. That must have sounded really weird.
It sounds like when there's police driving by and they're not really there because they're actually in the song. It's like that, you're listening while you're driving. Yeah.
We'll use it. We'll juice it in post. It's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we juice it in post.
Because we do a lot of
Definitely what we
post
do.
around here.
Is there post
Right.
on the show?
No,
There's
there's no
no post. There is
okay,
a post.
I we talk about that, but like I really think that you showed us last week, Jason, a couple of comments on some post or whatever, some one of our broadcasts, and they were talking about this conversation deserved more attention. And it was, it's 30 minutes, and it's like I think that the magic of what we've been bringing to the table is that we start these conversations and we're able to have them in this informal, lighthearted format that we get to just like kind of toss around some ideas and explore something. And then, people can take that and, go run with it in a certain direction or talk about it in more in depth or do an article on it. And they do.
Or ignore it altogether.
I did for years, actually.
But them asking that, like, this deserves more attention. It's like, that is literally the format of the show, is that we give, we're like, talk about something and then, we kind of let it go. And I think that's why this 10 years has been able to happen, because we aren't a Gutenberg focused show. We aren't just exclusively focused on, the business community, which has changed a lot, but we really just kind of reflect back what's happening in WordPress at the time. And for us as people in WordPress, for the WordPress community. And I think it's that just us, we're not trying to create something that isn't there. We're not trying to brand, to sell something. And I think that's really enabled us to be that mirror to the community and start conversations. And because we don't finish them, we don't have crazy wild opinions. We don't finish.
We gave the title of the show that, and then we don't actually talk about it.
Yeah, because of that, though, we put these things out there, and then we aren't political. We might be troublemakers, but we're not like, I don't know. I feel like that's just really contributed. While some may look at that, right? Oh, you didn't give this, enough attention, or this topic needs to go further detailed, or you're not geeky enough. And honestly, I think that's really just part of the whole magic, is that it's like that. It's like what tech is like. It just keeps flowing, this river, and there's little bits coming around, and it's, Anyway, I just wanted to say that that's what I think, and I appreciate the ability of all of you to do that, and also the ability, the interest of the community to listen to it. If they do, I don't know. Some people say they do.
Well, it's also unfiltered and unedited. And I can think of maybe 3 times I've asked Jason to edit out something I said because I really
pain in the ass, to be perfectly honest.
It's the only post I can think of. But the other thing is, out of all the guests we've had on the show, the 3 of us made the cut somehow.
That's true.
Okay.
Yeah, that's totally true.
And then I was actually going to ask you this, Cosper. Do you know what year you came on the show? Because I have no idea. I feel like you've just always been present in the world.
It's been at least 5 years. I'm sure that I see Tucker potentially. I don't actually
know what year it is now.
Yeah, neither do I. I had a conversation earlier this week with somebody, and they're just like, I could tell you that something happened 2 years ago, and it turned out it happened like 6 years ago. Just the way the past 2 years, 2.5 years have been, it's like everything just kind of all blurs together.
Plus, I also have CRS. Can't remember shit. So I don't know when anything happened, frankly.
Yeah,
that is a very serious affliction. We will be hosting a telethon for CRS.
We are all like wretched victims of that. Yeah. And then, you know what? Maybe that contributes to our ability to have this longevity in terms of 10 years.
Every show, every time.
We're like, oh,
it's all brand new to us. Jason's like, no, we've covered that 5 times already. Nah, I think we should.
Cosper was episode 148, by the way.
Wow.
Yep.
See, that was a long time ago. It's the
bulk of the show. Okay.
4:30. Yeah. That's a good. That'd be a good portion.
Yeah.
Yep. That's it.
Are you bringing
that up? Wow. Look at that.
Oh, hey, Sarah. So many of the folks that we have had on the show in the past 10 years have actually left the WordPress space. And
hey Jason, is this when we used to do the show on Google Hangout with 10 people talking at a time?
Yeah.
Those were good times.
Those were good times. That was mass hysteria and confusion.
Yeah, it really was.
I'm still having a hard time getting over 4 people trying to talk over one another. I don't know how y'all did it with 10.
It was a challenge.
Was it?
Yeah.
I don't know. It seemed easy to me.
To you.
I didn't have a problem with it. I don't know. It's just like, I don't know. Anyway, so Steve, I really liked your how it started, how's it going?
Yeah.
And hey Priscilla. Are you tuning in for 10 years? See, this is what I was talking about. There was really there's so many, the WordPress community has been so rich and varied. And I think in 2012, it was really just the beginning of the heyday of the WordCamp. Like WordCamp was really coming into its like prime, and they were still small enough that people were like kind of like folks that were big within the community, or like Yoast was hanging around or whatever, and so the community felt small because it was accessible and everyone was there and willing to talk. There weren't these kind of echelons of different levels of corporate styration, not stagnation, like the geographical lines and rocks.
Yeah. We'll go with that one. We'll go with that.
Layers, guys, just layers. Okay, there weren't these layers that didn't seem as impenetrable, and that's actually something that feels very different. And I know none of you went to WordCamp US, but it felt very different in terms of a WordCamp. In terms of size, it definitely felt more thank you, Jim. See, not crazy. Striation. I can't.
Striation. Is what he typed.
Okay, whatever. Anyway. I do believe that it was in the WordCamps really brought the community together. And I think that the last, the pandemic really hurt the community, even though it's a virtual community, right? Even though in theory, we're very digital and all remote. I think not having the WordCamps was much more detrimental really to the community than it would have purported to be, or one might think that it was. And I know for me, this show is one of the things that has gotten me through that. Like I've actually considered leaving the community so many times for various reasons, baby reasons, community problem reasons, just overwhelm, work reasons. And water cooler has always kept me kind of like, it's something that I just enjoy so much and I love doing. And, as much as we joke, I don't want to do Drupal cooler or like Shopify cooler or like other whatever nonsense.
I mean, we did do Drupal cooler.
Yeah. I want to do Drupal cooler, but only on April 1st.
I would join the Laravel cooler if you started that, Jason.
I would learn Laravel to start it. Ow, I just hurt myself. I would learn Laravel to start it to do that because so many people have been talking about Laravel lately.
Drupal cooler.
That was Drupalberg.
That was Drupalberg.
Oh.
We did another Drupal. We did the Drupal water cooler, which was hilarious. It was just the silliest dang thing.
Anyway, do y'all reflecting? Kind of how it started. Do y'all?
Yeah. Not heard you.
That's just y'all. There's a lot of apostrophes in that. Do y'all
what?
Feel? How do y'all feel about the community in terms of reflecting on it 10 years ago when we were just kind of like, fresh little doe-eyed excitement folks?
I don't know. I think for me, like the start of the show was the fact that I just wanted like our meetups that Steve did to just happen every week. And it was on a Monday at that point. And so we were doing the show every Monday, which I don't know how the hell we did that for as long as we did. And then my work was like, oh, by the way, you get Friday off now. And I'm like, awesome. I'll just do it on Friday. So I don't have to like rush off to go do this. So for me, it was just like, I wanted to just have that community just happening all the time. So it was like every week. And I was working from home for when I first started this. And I didn't, I missed the water cooler of literally walking over and like hanging out with people and talking to them. And so I just manifested it, and ta-da, 10 years later, we're doing it.
I think you're absolutely right to say about the community being affected by the pandemic, but I was already starting to see changes in the community even before that, like a couple of years before the pandemic. I was already starting to see WordCamps change and grow and become something that, like you said, wasn't as accessible as it was when, say, Brandon and Jeff were running WordCamp OC, right? When they the 5 years they ran WordCamp OC, those WordCamps were awesome. I mean, second to the ones I ran, of course, but those WordCamps, felt like very a very tight knit community. It felt accessible. It felt like anybody that was there was on a level playing field. You could talk to anybody. You could have conversations about things that you were working on. And I kind of felt that even 2018, 2019, it started to shift a little bit. It was becoming more commercialized. At least that's what I felt was happening.
Well, that's what I'm asking is,
Yeah, when Matt was talking during his Q&A session, I think during WordCamp US, he called out specifically that WordCamp US they capped it at 650
500
people
or something. Yeah,
that was a small WordCamp, and
right. It was a small WordCamp US. I think he meant.
Sure, but I mean,
or that felt like a normal WordCamp. Yeah,
I remember those first few WordCamps, like WordCamp Prime that happened in San Francisco, and then the couple of WordCamps that happened in San Francisco after. Like that first, initial WordCamp was 150, maybe 250 people, and the next couple years after that, it was about the same. People were, trying to get there, but hotel rooms in San Francisco were expensive. There wasn't much corporate sponsorship. A lot of the people who were there were just there because they wanted to be there. I mean, I remember buying for the first few WordCamps, buying a $40 ticket out of pocket and lining up a place to crash on a friend's couch, just because it's like, yeah, okay, like you live where I'm trying to go. Like, let's go ahead and do this. And
it was like Couch Surfer versus Airbnb.
Right, exactly. And
but I still got an Airbnb back then. I was actually in an Airbnb. I was this recently, and so I was looking at my history for whatever reason, and you can track the WordCamps by the various Airbnbs. I was like, well, that was for WordCamp US this, and this is for WordCamp Reno, and this is for WordCamp whatever. It's really funny to see that. There was I don't know, I don't know how people are with now in terms of regional stuff, but I think that WordCamp is also reflective of the community, kind of the greater community, even online, right? It's just gotten so much bigger that it's really hard to keep tabs on everybody, right? Or keep tabs on all the stuff that's going on. So do you think it's just the necessary evolution of a space that is growing, or do you think that it is something within the community that has changed since then?
I think it has to do with the software itself. I think once the software started growing and becoming everything to everyone, and the tool that's sort of the tool for everything, it became fractured, right? It was a little bit more focused. I think back when we started. I think a lot of people were doing what were considered experimental things with WordPress, right? Breaking out of the sort of building a blog and starting to build websites and things like that. But once the tool became ubiquitous, I think that's when I started to see WordCamps in the community feel more spread out.
I wonder if it,
By the way, I'm not saying that's good or bad. It's just how I'm looking at it.
I mean, it is what it is, right? I don't think we have to pass judgment on it to observe it, and to it's not necessarily the same thing, right? We're not necessarily an opinion show so much as just a Look at that over there.
I'm sorry. When are we?
I mean, I guess we're an opinion show, but anyway, I was gonna say,
But do you
maybe
think that we would do the things that we were doing back in the day with our meetup now? Like, would we go and have that? Like, remember we had a birthday party, Steve, and we had a freaking cake.
Oh yeah.
And we had like, I don't know if we had a band or not, but we just had like, it was just like everything was happening.
A WordPress birthday party.
Yeah, we threw
what was 10 years? Was it 10 or 15? I thought it was 10.
Yeah, we threw a birthday party at my office.
But would you do that again now? Like, I don't know if we would do that again now.
Well, it just had its 15th, and we didn't do anything for that. And 20 is next year, I think. So, we can ask ourselves, will we? And then we'll know the answer. We don't have to theorize about that one.
And then we did uncompany picnics, where we literally had people who didn't have like full companies of people. We had like a picnic for everybody so that we could pretend that we were like at a picnic. I mean, this is literally me just like wishing I was working for a real company.
I mean, this is the thing. Well, this is what I mean. Like, I think that's part of why the community, you can't separate it from WordPress, because it was always like, it's what you were creating. That's what, that's what you're looking for and creating. Like, that's what we've been creating. Like, and, I used to get in these arguments with, not really arguments, but discussions with Alice Vasquez, who's used to be more of a WordPress person. He's left the orbit a little bit. And we would talk from a small business perspective. We both train and work with small businesses. And, we'd get into with various other folks, we'd also get into we have to defend WordPress all the time, WordPress apologists. And his main thing, he actually did once a showdown, like a Wix versus WordPress showdown. And his main tool was like the community. Like, he didn't go look it up online. Like, the one guy went and looked up how to do whatever and was trying to do something. And, Alex just went into the Facebook chat and asked a question, and had like, like all the answers for how to solve that problem in like, 5 minutes, because everyone replied to the Facebook post. And, he also built it, but I think that was showcasing kind of the community around it. And, I know, for example, Daniel Silvers, I can never say his last name. Silvers Schultz Smith. I got it. It created, for example, the WordPress topic on Twitter, so there's like kind of a micro thing there. And then we have post status, which is just this huge thing that is kind of over here. And, I don't know. I feel like, is it just really the scale, the size of it has made it so that community is not possible in that same way?
I think that's part. I think that the size of it is also a factor.
People are working for hosting companies now, so they're kind of tied to the brand and tied to the pieces that brand now owns.
And hey, wait a minute.
and frankly, I mean, there was a lot of people back in the day that were kind of giving away not giving away, that's not the right term for it. They were working for free, right? Or working for less than what they were worth, right? That's only sustainable for so long, right? And I think that was a big part of the shift in the community as well.
Mm-hmm.
We had so many conversations,
which you could probably take credit for with all of your business pricing.
I'm fine with that.
All of your business pricing
I'm fine with that. Country. I want everybody to raise their value. I'm fine with
Steve
that.
would literally be at these like offsite meeting things that we would do of various different things, and telling people like, I don't know why you're getting away with like charging $50 an hour for whatever it is that you're doing, but like, you got to figure out how to fix this. Like, this is just not enough. Like, I don't know how you're even here right now. How did you afford to even drive your car here to do the thing? And you can. I don't remember the term here, but like all tides rise the boats, whatever that whole boat rising tide thing is.
Tide raises all boats.
Yes. Mm-hmm. It's like that. Steve was a tide, and he was making sure all the boats were raised up, so that way we could actually have more people to actually make more money.
You know what?
So ultimately, Steve makes more money.
Not to get smarmy, but at WordCamp US, I had multiple conversations where people told me that they missed Steve's presence both at WordCamp US, and then told me a really sweet story about how he inspired them, or how he bought them all dinner and made them feel super included, or how he just, was so kind and, answered their questions about something. Like, multiple people this past weekend told me that. And it was a really great feeling to, know that kind of that, well, to be associated with that legacy, obviously, proud of you, proud to be part of that. But, I think that's a big part. I know it's a revenge. That's perfect. Just like what you are like, but I wanted to share that publicly too. Cause I was gushing about the Tucker. And so I just wanted to also say, Steve's not just a pretty face. He also, and he who charges a bunch of money. Okay. He's more than just money and looks. Okay.
Thank you. I listen. I am a bit, and I appreciate everything you're saying. But ultimately, what I was trying to let people know is that they were worth more. They were worth more than what they were charging. And ultimately, it was about sustainability, right? And sustainability for those people,
for the whole community.
Sustainability for our community, right?
Yeah.
Our community would not survive if people didn't start getting paid what they were worth, right? It just wouldn't be around.
I have a lot to say on that I will say at a future point. I'm going to pin a little pin in that and come back to that.
There are people in our community, and we've kind of touched on this, who have left the community in part because it's not sustainable for them. They cannot make a living doing what they do. The only way that they could make a living is, the only way I make a living is I figured out a niche of working in web hosting and have done so for like 15 years. And
I like that you're like, the only way I make a living versus like my expertise is in. Like, what? Can we exact same thing? Is it time for me to say something like schmarmy about you too? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, you got like 4 minutes. Okay. Go for it.
All right, I have like 2 minutes. Okay, Cosper, you've brought a really positive and inclusive energy to the show, and you've just always been. No, we definitely cannot make a living with this. Absolutely not. That would literally corrupt the show. It's a paradox within itself. Okay. Anyway, the energy that you've brought has been very stabilizing, I think, to all of us. And you are also consistent. And your consistency, both in showing up and having stuff to say, but also in your temperament, I think, just in general, in your view of the community, but in your temperament and your interaction in the show and your interest in our community and in people is really been an asset to our show. So,
and Cosper's always been giving of his time.
Yeah,
always.
And I think, good friend.
Yeah.
I did want to say this other thing though. In addition to that, is that I think that it's only a minute left, so I'm not going to say something negative. I'm going to end us on a positive note instead, and just tell you guys that I am really happy to be here with you three. And 10 years in to still be gabbing about WordPress every week, like it's fun.
I'm sorry. Wait, this is a show about WordPress.
It's fun. Like that's why I do it, right? I do it because this is fun. I enjoy talking to y'all. I enjoy talking about WordPress. I enjoy bringing attention to things within WordPress, and I think that we've met those goals. And there's so few things in life that are simple and you can, maybe be successful at and feel like, yeah, that's hit that goal. And it's nice to just feel that this is something that doesn't, that has done that.
I love this. I love this.
Yeah.
We are totally jaded.
Yeah. This is just he's putting up a comment that says we're very jaded and whatever, but
we totally
got
are.
History.
So
it's only like a big brother, big sister energy, I think, is our jadedness.
Yeah, let's not let this whole thing pass by while Say has said very many nice things about us.
Oh no, we're out of time.
Let's not.
We got 2 minutes. We're good.
Yeah, let's not minimize the contributions of Say here, who I really feel has been somebody who keeps pushing us forward, keeps having us have conversations that who just really make sure Tucker is here every week and Steve is great at
here
helping
sometimes
people. And right as long as he doesn't have a tea time, Steve is here. There we go. He's got balls.
Steve's always here holding his balls
the whole time.
Please watch the show if you, but no,
Yeah, if you have questions,
say-
that's the visual is required. Yeah.
really is in a lot of ways the accelerant and the engine in WP Watercooler. She drives the show forward. She makes sure that we hit our topics and everything else, and it's
More everything else than the topic, but hey,
but
I just make sure we hit things. That's all.
Yeah, as long as we hit things, we're good.
Hit it. Say.
Does anyone else
She
have
makes
anything
sure we
nice
hit
to say
things.
about Say?
Actually, I think I'm not drunk. I'm just Say Read is the best thing you've ever said about Say. So I think if we could really get that on a T-shirt.
I just love running around WordCamps doing crazy interviews with you, doing what we called the hallway track, and we actually just took over the name of it and just started calling it that, and then we made an entire show series of it.
We came up with it here.
I know.
Say.
That's what I'm gonna ask for.
Steven chimed in the chat.
I'm gonna write a will so I can put that in it.
Here's all I was gonna say. I agree with everything that Cosper has just said. Say is our personality. Like this show just does not have the same energy without Say here. So, and again, I'm not saying that's good or bad, right? I'm not passing judgment.
You have to say that part. That part you could have. That's the silent.
I'm joking. I'm just joking. It's great.
Now we're over time. Now we really.
I'm so glad we didn't do a clip show. This is great.
What's a clip show? Do we have a show? Do we have content we should look at?
Yeah, I'm so glad we didn't do a clip show because that would have sucked.
The past is irrelevant. Our show is only ever about now and the future. That's it. Nothing about the past. Who cares?
Steve's Uber Black is sitting outside waiting for him to go to the golf course.
He's loading my golf club right now.
Right.
1-800 dial a caddy. Like, is that a thing?
I don't think so. But it sounds like a great business.
That's an app that exists, though, right? Like caddies, you can call up a caddy.
Well, you all, I love you all. I want to say thank you for doing 10 years of this with me. It's been a pleasure.
10 more? Hilarious. I don't know.
Hey, you never know. Steve, Flash may make a comeback, and then we can do a whole Flash show, and Steve can get involved in it.
God, no.
All right, director fans, you have a good rest of your night. See you later.
Bye.
Bye. Hey, go over to WPwatercooler.com/subscribe.
It's been 10 years. Hit the button.
We'd appreciate it.
Hit the button.
This is
if you
an
haven't
audio
hit the
podcast.
button,
It's a video podcast. We just do stuff. It's fun. Listen to us, watch us. Watch this one, though. This one was a good one to watch. Talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.